Okay, we're rolling. Thank you for being here. I'm Almas.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's we've known each other. We went to Musicians Institute, just like a lot of my great friends, and I started in 2013. When did you start going there?
2013 too, September of that year.
Yeah, what did you study? Did you independent artist program, vocals?
So I did the combination degree where I did 4 quarters of vocals and then I did two more of IP. So I kind of decided to try out different programs.
And how did you like that?
I loved it. Honestly, I really liked being at MI. I feel like I made really good friends. I learned a lot. Like I didn't have much experience really, professional experience before that, and it really kind of helped kickstart my career and get my my performance up, and obviously some knowledge, and then the network. Most of my first work came from somehow MI connections or things like that, so it was a great platform to start career.
And what do you do now? Can you tell everybody or like what? So you said you're a singer. Are you in a band? Are you I know you're in a band, but would you like to talk about your amazing band, Dorja, right?
Yes, yes. um I am, yes, I have a band called Dorja, that is UK based band, and it's all original. We've been a band for about 3 years now, and it's going great. We have an album out. We tour couple of times a year. I'm actually going back out on tour in a week. We're gonna do
Wow.
UK and Europe, so it's always fun. We have a nice little following over there, which for any artist, it's amazing to be able to,
Just to get a following in general.
yeah, and to sing to people who seem to appreciate it. So we're really happy. We're really lucky to have an amazing support from our fans. And I'm also a singer songwriter based here, and I have some projects in LA as well. I'm currently actually in a solo project that's been in the studio for the past year, and I haven't released anything yet so far, but it's going to be a really exciting thing. I think we recorded a music video, and there's a whole team of really cool people involved. So I'm quite excited about that too.
And what kind of music is it? Is it like the style that you sing with like Dorja, or is it different?
I think it's a little bit different. So Dorje is pretty rock and roll. It's dark too, and my own stuff. Well, I used to have a project too, actually, a couple of years ago that was just under my name, Aiyym, and it was more like it was a little bit. It was kind of rocky, but still a little pop with certain even like indie vibes, or
I think I was that recent a couple years
yeah, a
ago.
couple of years
Yeah.
ago. I'm not released. I kind of, that project is on hiatus at the moment. But this new project is there's a producer and another songwriter involved. So it's like an interesting sort of, I don't even know how to explain it, but style wise, it still is kind of rock. I guess you'd still put it in the world of rock, but it's a little bit more like um, a little bit more epic. Maybe just certain things are more um, uh, just a little bit more, maybe like melancholic too. I don't know. It's not as maybe like
Straightforward.
straightforward rock. Yes, some songs are very rocky. One song is more of a like a rock ballad. One song is very, very like weird, 9 minute long, like 3 minute breakdown solo type of. There's a lot of
There's a lot
influences in
of
that
going on.
project.
And is
Yeah.
that coming out, you think? Since you said it was on hiatus, or
Oh no, no, the hiatus was the one that I stopped. My own. This one is the brand new project that is actually in the process of being
yes, with the
yeah.
producer
So
and your
the
friend.
exactly, yeah. So the music video is filmed. It all
Oh
looks
wow.
great. The package is ready, and they're just trying to figure out ways to do the most like effective.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Is there a name for the group, or is that you can't say that yet?
It's yeah, it's because it's still
In the
like
works?
in the works. We still haven't decided because, so yeah, I'm not sure what it's actually gonna be. But
I'm looking
yeah,
forward to it.
yeah, me too. It's been we've been recording this past year, and it's really cool. It's a really
Is it with anybody from MI, or is it with a brand new group of people? Or
actually, yeah, it's a completely different set of people that I met after MI. It was this amazing lady who used to, she's done lots of great work as an A&R, as a songwriter, and um, she kind of she liked how I sang and wrote, and she wanted to start doing something. So we had a few sessions, and then she just wanted to like produce the stuff. So she was looking for a producer, and
that's really amazing.
yeah, I was just like kind of, writing the songs, and I of course I was excited, but I didn't know where it was headed. And then she found a producer who ended up being interested in the project as well, and he jumped on board as like a third part of that project. So three of us were writing like 20 hours a day every day, recording, and it kind of was a very nice like like sometimes like magic happens in the studio, so it was that sort of a thing. So we were all really happy with how we were writing together, and yeah, and then it just kind of blossomed into a project. And now yeah, the A&R lady, she's trying to find ways
To get
to,
it out there.
yeah,
So is it just you playing by yourself with like maybe like loops or stuff that you created in the studio, or is it a band? Or
it's actually a producer who is very, very talented, and he plays everything on the record. So um, it's all live. It's all very kind of rock and roll in that sense, because everything's recorded by him actually, uh, but of course with elements of production, and he adds really, really cool stuff into the mix. And um, yeah, it's a very, very interesting combination, I think, of things. Yeah, they're both really, really talented people. So I'm really excited to be working with them.
and has this project interfered with the stuff that you want to do, or how's that going to work? Because you're in the band Dorja, you're working on this project, you have other things we talked about. You want to play more songs in 2020, being doing acoustic guitar and stuff. How does that work? How do you find time to do all that?
Oh, time. Yes, it's that's a tricky one,
Not
but
not enough of it.
yeah, I wish there was more time. But I'm very generally like a very energetic person. I think I'm always like I have to be doing
I see you all the
something,
time
and
somewhere. Yeah.
I just, yeah, just strive on, like I really love being busy, and I really love having my attention. I mean, I obviously I like being focused on one thing too, but I actually enjoy getting to like explore different parts of myself as a performer, right? Like I'm a certain way performing with Dorja, and then this other project is more of a different vibe. And then I also, like told you earlier, I would want to do more of just me and guitar this year, and try to, me and guitarist, but just more kind of stripped down stuff too, and get back into writing that's just myself as well. Um, and it's, I mean, they don't really interfere as much yet, and I'm hoping to be always be able to find
Time or
time to do everything. But it is working out well so far, and I'm just lucky to be, to be busy. I think it's a lot of
is a good
musicians
thing.
were like, yes, it's hard, it's exhausting, but I think I'm really, I wouldn't, keep doing it if I wasn't just as excited. And
Yeah, in love with it, I guess you
yeah.
could say. It's great that you're busy. I'm so happy because being busy as a musician it's hard. Um, can you talk about going from MI and then leaving? how you became busy, what you did to like take those steps. Because I see you all the time. You're singing, you're playing a gig, you're everywhere. You're playing all the time, and
Yeah.
I love seeing you on your Instagram stories and all the time. So how did you go from going to college and then because if you want to tell people, you're not from here, you're from Kazakhstan, which
Yeah.
is it's just hard moving from a different country in itself, and then you're playing music, which is very hard, and then you're trying to make it out, which is, there's all these things that are hard, but you're doing it. So can you kind of talk
Ah,
about that?
thank you. It's actually, yeah, an interesting, a bit of an interesting journey because I'm from Kazakhstan, yes, and then I finished high school in England, and I didn't do anything music related until after I graduated from university. I thought, okay, I just there's absolutely no way I can suppress my desire to be
To be an
an
artist.
artist because being from Kazakhstan, it's not a very typical like route at all. So it was always a dream that I was never really sure if it's um, realistic or not. But then I just thought, okay, like I actually don't think I would live a happy life if I don't. So I kind of made this crazy decision. But I got my bachelor in sociology, and I sort of saw a certain route for myself, and then I just closed my eyes and turned the other way and did a year of college in London. That was my first time ever to do anything music related. And I was never really in a music circles. And none of my friends uh, really played music or, was in entertainment industry at all. So it was very, very new. And then that year, though, really showed me how much I love it. And I just wanted to learn. I just wanted to
And what year was that?
That was 2012. So right before LA.
Yeah.
And then then after that I was like, okay, I need to move to LA. So that's when I started MI, and really I didn't have any so I kind of was very, very new to the whole thing. I didn't, a lot of people did like gigs locally in their hometowns. I never really
Never.
never had a career
Never would have
before.
thought.
It's interesting. I absolutely had no I did a few gigs as a background singer in London at the very end of that college year of music, so that was like a little bit of an entry, but never, I did, although my first ever performance was very cool actually, because it was the show a graduation showcase at my London college, and I was so scared. Like I was like I really am not, I didn't haven't performed at that point at all. And but I decided to just audition for the graduation showcase, and it's all bands from school audition. And then I ended up getting picked, and actually my first ever live performance was at O2 Shepherd's Bush Empire in London
Wow.
as part of school
That's yeah,
graduation.
the first gig ever.
Yeah, and I was like,
That's
oh,
pretty amazing.
that's pretty cool. Yeah. So then I moved to LA and I went to school, and but I was so like I gotta, because I'm so much later to the industry than most of my peers. But I was like, I have to, perform. I have to write. I have to get out there, and it just kind of said, I kind of rushed myself into it.
Oh, I'm so happy you did because I mean we met each other. I went to Musicians Institute. Sorry, choking on my air. Um, we both went to Musicians Institute, and I play the drums. You sing, obviously, and yeah, they're just your voice. I just never would have guessed that you've been singing only a couple years, right? Then it's
Oh
on because
yeah.
you're the. I was trying to tell listeners we have May. May is here. She's the camera operator that's been helping us, and I was trying to describe to her your voice. I said very cool, raspy, airy, like rock and roll. Like that's what it is. And so I think I hit the nail on the head, right, May? Yeah. Can you kind of talk about your voice? Has it always been like that? Did you like look to an artist to kind of get the style, or it just kind of came out of you because it's a very unique voice, and when you watch the live session, you'll hear it. You can really like you can hear your emotion come through
Oh,
in your voice.
thank you. Actually, with the voice, it's interesting because like I do a lot of rock and roll, right? But I never ever did rock before LA. I never even thought I could. And I remember there was a rock LPW at MI, and I was like, oh, that's not absolutely
You
not.
you were there all the time, that's so funny.
Yeah, and but the first quarters, I was like, oh, cannot, like I cannot sing. It's just not,
Yeah.
it sounded so scary and so foreign to me. And growing up in Kazakhstan, I wasn't really exposed to much rock either, so I didn't know a lot of very famous bands that everyone else would know. I actually didn't. So, but then I sang like a couple of times, and then my friends at MI were like, "Oh my gosh, you should be in our rock band." I was like, "Me in rock? That's I don't know if that's my thing." And they're like, "No, no, we want you in our rock band." And since then, I started singing rock, and um, because yeah, I have that like rasp, and I think I was also being very like brave. I was like, I don't know what my voice is. I was never really trained, and I really just kind of really experimented. I was like, what if I, go really high? How's that gonna, like, I was really just very kind of wild with my voice just because it was so new to me, everything. So I was just trying to try everything, and rock just, sort of, yeah, I guess came out. I was like, oh, let's do this Janis Joplin song. Oh, it's pretty high. And then when I get up there, that's when, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's the part of the voice that
Yeah.
is, making it sound like that. And it was, yeah, so rock kind of happened to approached me, um, instead
Yeah.
of me approaching
Approaching.
it. Yeah. So and my voice, yeah, yeah, I've sang. I grew up on more like diva songs, like Mariah and Whitney and Celine Dion. These were, I was a child of the '90s, so I those were my girls. And then yeah, and then it was kind of like rock, and I listen to a lot of singer-songwriter artists too. So I don't know, but I like playing around with my voice. That's why again I like being in different projects. I like sort of showing different sides, and just that's what I always said. I would probably retire as like a, my dream would be to be this like Sade,
Yeah.
just sing these like cool, smooth jazz somewhere in like.
I'd buy that album.
Yeah, I love that. Like I love jazz too, and like R&B. So I don't know. I love so many things. It's
I'd
so
be so
hard.
interested to hear that
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's
that is my, yeah. I love that. Like a very chilled.
oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, that
Now
is
you got
coming.
my
Yeah.
wheels going. I'm like, "Oh, that would be great." Can you talk about, being a front woman, not a front man, but a front woman in an amazing band and having to head a band in 2020? It's very difficult, I know, because it's just things have been getting crazier, especially for women. Can you kind of talk about that? Like things you like, the pros and kind of cons, and things that you maybe dealt with that people don't know about touring, or things that you want to let people know about that are amazing?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a lot to say in that sense because yeah, as you know, Georgia until actually recently was an all girl band. Now our bass player is our producer Oliver.
Yeah, I think I
So
saw that.
now
Yeah.
it's I mean predominantly female, but it's but actually the idea of the band was never about it being all girls. It just happened to be this way. Our drummer started the band, and her friends were the girls, and they were just looking for a singer. And a friend of a common friend recommended me here in LA. So that's how I kind of joined that project. But yeah, being I guess a front woman, and especially in an all girls band and going out on tours, it's really interesting. I think we definitely there's it's the industries is tricky sometimes, and we get a lot of um we would get even on interviews, for example, we can sometimes get like funny questions that probably an all guy band would never get.
Yeah.
They're not no or an all guy band. No one asked them. So how come you all decided to be an all guy band? It's just a band.
Yeah, you
Whereas
just
with girls, it's like, so why did you decide to be all girl? It's always someone has to ask a question, or we would get sometimes like, oh, so tell us, do you all share your makeup? And we're like, Yeah,
That has
sometimes, but it's
nothing to do
nothing
with
to
the
do with,
music.
yeah. So we would get, of course, but what's amazing is, we're all really good friends, and we obviously touring together is super fun. But and we have a really, really, yeah, good um fan base, like I said, um and I think, although, and actually, I think the female fronted, like, bands in the UK particularly are very, very popular, and there's a lot of fans going to different kind of shows, and they always want to check out different bands. But they're lovely. Even when now we have a male bass player, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that's awesome." So we do have. It's not a very. You'd think sometimes we would be like, "Is our fan base just because it's all girls?" Or,
Yeah.
but and then with music, you realize that it isn't. So it's nice to have people
And do
just
you
come for the
see
music.
that since it's an all girl band, is it mainly just like women fans, or you have both men and women, or
That is a interesting thing because it is mostly a male fan
oh, it
base.
is.
Yeah,
That is
actually, I
awesome.
would say. So yeah, that's why we're
That's kind of
like,
cool.
we want like young girls to be our fans, and like, but yeah, I would say, yeah, mostly male fan base. Um, but that's, again, I don't know if it's accidental, because there's also just like a very big female fronted, like, community in the UK, where all sorts of bands. But of course, our goal would to not have a very specific fan base. I would love. We played a show in Edinburgh once, and we had these like little girls. And they really, really enjoyed our set, and then
Yeah.
they drew us, and then it was
Oh my
so
gosh.
sweet. And I really, yeah, and whenever we get comments like, "Oh my gosh, like, you really inspired like my daughter to go and play drums or be in a rock band." So I love to see that. Like,
That's
and I
amazing.
love our audience, but I also want us to, reach out, be able to touch
Expand,
other,
yeah.
expand to other groups. Yeah, like young women, or children, or just everyone. Yeah.
So with this new tour, you is it a tour, or you're going on with Dorja? You're going out, right? On like
Hmm.
some dates. Is there something that you're gonna change? Do you since you talked about wanting to um hit more of a wider audience, are you guys gonna do something different? Are you planning on yeah, stuff like differently, or you're just kind of gonna see how it goes and go
uh,
from there?
yeah, I think this tour is gonna be um i- but that's, I guess, we even when we even our headline support acts, when we headline, we always try to pick a really cool combination of bands, so we can all share, our audiences, and hopefully attract fans to each other's bands. So we always um, take a good, what's the word, like, really think of who we want to open for us. So it's always a fun night. Particularly different with this tour. Well, it is going to be exciting to have our new bass player.
Yeah, bass.
And what is particularly cool about that is he's our producer. He's the producer of our album.
Very cool.
So and he's been a part of the family forever. He's actually even toured with us when our former bass player needed a sub. He was subbing. He's wonderful and so talented. So I'm actually excited about this new stage too, because having a producer be in your band is also cool, because he has a different vision sometimes, right? Added to being a musician, he also hears with his
Yeah, different
producer.
perspective.
Yeah. So we're quite excited to start a new album. And that's actually the next tour. Besides touring, we're going to record a music video for one of the songs of our previous album. And we're going to start work on the new one with a new lineup. And I'm quite excited about this new phase of the band too.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been seeing you guys doing because you were going through a period where there's a lot of stuff coming out, and then you kind of like pause a little bit. Now I'm seeing more and more stuff coming out,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's gonna be fun.
Personally, I wanted to know. I've always wanted to ask you. Please don't think I'm ignorant for saying this, but I didn't know Kazakhstan was a country. For I found out about it in sixth grade
Yeah.
from watching the movie Borat.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of, but I was like, wow, there's, and but from watching that movie, I was like, okay, I thought the people were Middle Eastern. Um, no. So, can you kind of talk about Kazakhstan, your country, the people? I mean, you're a very lovely, amazing person. So, I just would like to get to know about the country and how you heard of MI and like coming here and all that.
Thank you. Yeah, Kazakhstan is a very such an interesting place to be from because yeah, I get so much, I get so many questions and people aren't yeah they can't always understand um, what it is. But it is, it's actually a huge country. It's ninth biggest in the world. It's like size of mainland Europe, but
Wow.
it's just like super unpopular. No one knows about it. But it's a beautiful country. I left when I was 15. Um, but I absolutely love my home. I'm proud to be from Kazakhstan, and my parents and my grandparents live there, and my family and friends. So I'm still very much attached to my home, although I've been living abroad for so many years. But Kazakhstan is it's a country in Central Asia. It used to be part of the Soviet Union. So I mean, no, actually, my first language is Kazakh, but I kind of forgot it. But the language I was born speaking and is my like my main language is Russian. So that's again confusing people because I look Asian. I speak Russian. I have
And
a
you
bit of
also
a
have
British
a
accent.
British
Yeah,
accent is a
it's
whole, and then you sing rock.
and I sing and everyone's like, "What are
There's a
you?"
lot going
Yeah.
on, but it's great.
So it is yeah, it's a very interesting place. I love it for for the people, and we have a lot of different nationalities living in Kazakhstan, and different religions, and I love my people. It's a very beautiful country nature wise. I went a couple of months ago to visit my family, and I was just
I did. I saw
oh,
that, and I saw your post, and I was like, "Wow,
it's
this is Kazakhstan."
it's absolutely mind blowing, so beautiful. Like nature is out of this world. Very very beautiful country. I really wish people would visit more, and hopefully our tourism is gonna develop, and people would want to see it. It's like a gem,
Yeah.
beautiful.
And where's the country where you guys like next to is like
Russia, China. So we're like
so you're by the
below
popular
Russia.
countries, but you're not
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're like by hugely pop, but no one. But I think it's because we were part of the Soviet Union, so it's maybe just people assume Russia. When they think
Mhm.
of Soviet Union, they just maybe
Yeah, that's primarily what I think too.
yeah, and we obviously a big part of Kazakhstan identity comes still from being a Soviet country. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of it's westernized in many ways as well, and there's things that are very Eastern about it too. So it's a blend. It's a
Yeah.
very it's hard to pin it down. Is that an expression? Pin
Yeah.
it down.
To
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm very interested in going. So
Oh,
thank you
you
for sharing.
should. Yes, you'd love it.
When you came here to America, did you find it like a big culture shock, big change, or getting used to that? How was that for you?
Actually, it wasn't much of a culture. I guess because I came from London, and
Yeah, which is
London,
very hectic.
yeah, and I kind of grew up. I'd say in London. I was 15. I was by myself. I went to like a British boarding school. I studied there for 2 years, and really got like I guess my formative years were in England. So I really feel like it's home too in many ways. London, particularly. So I was used to like the West, I guess. So coming to LA wasn't much of a culture shock, but some things, of course, yeah, it is. But I think for everyone, even for an American coming to LA, it's like, what is this place?
LA is different
It's
than the United States.
yeah, it's
Very
its
different.
own thing. It's beautiful in many ways. It's bizarre in so many other ways. It's a cool place. I think I'm happy here. Um, um, I've met a lot of really cool people here, I think, and that's what, and a lot of cool things have happened to me here, or like odd things. And you're just like, I would only experience this in LA,
Yeah.
where else, like funny, weird things,
Yeah. In LA where you say yeah, no, yeah. And
Yeah.
people and that means yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, before we wrap this up, can you kind of talk about your plans for the future, what you have going, what we should be looking out for?
Plans for the
I know you
future.
talked about the album that you're working on. You're going to go on this tour. Anything else? Anything personal? Anything you're excited for?
I think, yeah. So mainly career-wise, it's continue work with Georgia, continue work on this new project. Also, yeah, start something new. I'm always down to start something new. Um, Personally, I feel like, yeah, I want to keep traveling, and I want to, yeah, I guess I just want to keep experiencing new things, because I'm hungry for new things. At the end of every year, I have to have at least one thing that I've done that is completely different from, like, I can't have a year repeat itself.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a big deal for me. So I have to, even if it's a small thing, but this year has to, one more thing has to be added,
What did you do last year that changed the year before? Did
Um,
you skydive?
no, I want to. Last year was, I think last year was the year where I actually, just to talk, just like real musician talk. Last year was, in comparison to the previous year, was the most, where I was finally getting into, a more like steady income, and getting more, and I'm talking gigs,
Yeah.
because we all have to do all kinds of gigs, corporate stuff, teaching, and all of these things. So I think last year for me was, in terms of like, because I've already been on tours years before that, so touring was not new. But yeah, I guess just really becoming a really, I mean, not stable is not the word probably, but
But
still.
I think if you're making money or doing anything music related, you're successful,
Exactly, yes. So I
no
think the
matter how
last
big or
year
how
was
small.
easier for me. Yeah, to just keep getting work and
Consistency.
consistency. Yeah, in work, as just as a musician, not particularly as an artist, but just as a working professional. Basically, I think I've have, um, so far. I've grown. That was the thing that I was like, okay, this year I've gotten lots of jobs, and it was kind of a good year in that sense.
And in this year, you're going to.
This year I'm going to, I think this year my goal is to, oh, I didn't talk about this. I do want to get more into like, to sync, and like get stuff placed in bigger things, and just go sort of beyond my my world. And I'd love to be able to be part of huge projects like movies or other songwriting teams, and
Yeah.
so I want to do that. And I also, I want this year to bring me a bigger step, even in terms of touring, maybe go on a huge tour, even if as an opener to a huge band, but like get a different, raise
Raise the bar.
the bar, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
venue capacities, and and things like that. I feel like that's where I would want to go and play, go on a big festival tour. And I'd love to do that. I'd love to do, at least like 7, 8 huge festivals
Yeah.
in the summer. It would be awesome. That's
I
my
can see you
favorite
at
thing to do.
Donington or Download or
Oh, I'd love
killing those
to.
festivals.
All of them. I want to go to Sweden Rock. I want to do Glastonbury, Coachella, whatever, outside lands, whatever those
Yeah, all
big
of them.
ones are, I'd love to do it. I think that's my favorite thing to do. Like we discussed a little bit earlier, I love being live. Like I love performing live. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, you totally change as a, for the good, because 'cause you're so quiet and you're very and then once you're on stage, you're just like a total
Yeah.
different human being, it's great.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming, it's been so
Thank you
amazing,
so
looking
much.
forward to the live session and looking forward to seeing you on tour and your new work, and hopefully we can get you on a song that I'm doing.
Yes, I'd love that. We should do it.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you
Yes.
again,
Thank
and
you.
wishing you the best of success in 2020.
Thank you, Austin, and thank you, Young Records. Thank you for having me. It was a really fun
Oh, it was my pleasure.
session. Really cool thing to do. Congratulations on
Oh,
the
thank you so
studio, and
much,
it's
I
great. I'm seeing it, and I'm so proud and happy for you.
oh,
Really.
thank you, I really appreciate that. Thank you, and wishing you more success throughout the whole 2020, okay?
Yes, yes, to that.